check, check, check. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. It's the best holiday. It's the best holiday. Hello. How's it going? Happy November. I guess it's not Halloween, but it's still the best holiday. Do I need more volume? Maybe a little bit. Wow. It is also late at night. My roommate is officially back from his month-long trip. So I'm in the extra self-conscious zone of talking out loud to myself on the off chance that the person I share a house with hears me. I should have just talked one day for like 18 hours straight when he was gone. And just slowly, episode by episode, cut up into half-hour, 45-minute chunks. You could hear a 31-year-old man slowly drive himself insane. And maybe one day we can still do that. Hello. So the first most important thing is I hope you are doing well. If you are listening, I hope you can get a meal. This podcast is based around food, and things are scary right now, and some people don't know when or how they're going to get their next meal. So the donation links are coming back for the foreseeable future. Fuck the Patreon. Fuck growing an audience that I can monetize. I am trying whatever I can right now with whatever tiny platform I have to help out in some way. So I will be donating. If you can, spare whatever you can if you're in that position. If you're on the borderline, obviously look out for yourself. This is only if you have extra laying around. Make, a monetary donation, throw some extra groceries in the cart, whatever it is. Please do, because we only go as far as the empathy we have for one another. And I'm tired of hiding how crazy I think everything fucking is right now. Because it's just mind-boggling. I mean, the fact that there's people who are going hungry regardless of where they're from, how they identify, and it's become a power play between suits. That's my radical line. That's it. Fuck it all. Because it's not left, right, it's up, down. And it does not matter what. The first thing I thought of, it doesn't matter what someone has between their pants. It doesn't matter what their skin color is. That's not the problem right now. So fucking open your hearts, please. Go woke, go broke. I'm already broke, so who fucking cares? Right? Like, what does it matter? There's no income flow from the things that are seen by the most. I mean, stand up. If you got into stand up to make money, you're in the wrong game. And if you've listened to any episode here, there's no ads, so you can assume I'm broke. You could probably assume I'm woke. Oh, God, I hate that you can say that and the perception of someone, and it just immediately comes to their brain of like, aggressive, over the top. Man, how great is Halloween, huh? Honestly, I had a great one this year. Thank you to past guests and friends Corwin and Emily for letting me invite myself over to their house. They have a wonderful spot in a Boston neighborhood that does Halloween how I remember it. I grew up in the best neighborhood for Halloween. It was just a tight neighborhood of door-to-door townhouses, or even the standalone houses were packed pretty close together. There was, a circle, the intersection of, the equidistant point from a bunch of houses that, you just kind of ran up to, and then you could go from there to a bunch of houses, and then you're like, oh, let's go to the next neighborhood over. And it was such a perfect dream neighborhood to run around with a pillowcase in, and then come home and empty it on your floor. And I think I've talked about this before also, but Halloween is the best holiday because of the two big American ones, even three, lump it, four, whatever you celebrate, I'm going to paint with a wide brush. If it's in the fall, chances are it's one of the bigger ones that you and your people care about, whatever your people means to you. So there's always the stress of, am I going there? Are you going here? Who's going here? Who's going there? What time are we going there? Oh, there's this travel. None of that for Halloween. There is just the beautiful changing of summer into fall. The temperature drops. It's all crisp. And the creativity of Halloween is something that I always gravitated towards. And the expression, from the funny ones to the ones that made no sense to, it just was a time where you could be free, and for one day, no questions were really asked outside of, what are you? You gave the answer, and they went, no, okay. Instead, it was an easy, clear cut. It wasn't open-ended. What are you? This Tuesday, who are you? Why are you? Which I so often felt it was just, What are you? And even when I was like, oh, I'm a cheerleader. I'm a 7th grade dude. I thought it would be funny. Okay, word. Yeah, it was funny. To, some people, other people were like, oh, you're a dude in a skirt. And I was like, yeah, that's the move. Classic comedy. Also, yeah, if your male identifying son wants to wear a skirt for Halloween, it's not a big deal. It's fine. They're probably just doing it because they think girls will think it's funny. And if they're not doing it for that reason, it's still okay. So Halloween has always been amazing because there's that no stress. You get to do what you want. You get to dress what you want. You get to just, you don't have to be there. You don't have to be here. It's just like, oh, I will go hand out candy. I'm going to get candy myself. I'm going to stay inside and watch spooky movies with no family members around. All of that is okay. Whatever you choose for Halloween, it is your holiday alone. So whenever I've seen stories of Halloween is dying, trunk or treat, it always bums me out because, of course, Halloween should have died during COVID. Halloween is not a COVID-safe holiday. And cards on the table, even when there was a COVID Halloween, I did go to the same friend's house, Corwin and Emily's, and we handed out candy. We like sanitized a bowl and like put that out, and then there were people in the neighborhood who made chutes from their porch down to the street and would throw candy down the chute from 6+ feet away. And that one definitely cheered my spirits, of course, for other reasons. But I feel like trunk or treat, I've never even like seen one advertised, and I feel like there's all of these stories about like trunk or treats ruining Halloween, and it sort of feels like the Starbucks Happy Holidays controversy that comes up somehow every year, where it's, it's like Starbucks is writing Happy Holidays on their cups and Christians are mad, and it's like, are they? I'm sure they are. Just because I don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not real, but it does feel somewhat of like a unicorn instance of like, maybe they did the trunk or treats during COVID or something, and that was safer. Maybe a kid got stolen in the neighborhood and they're trying to work their way back to the trust of knocking on strangers' doors. Who knows? Is it lame? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. Diet Halloween is still Halloween. I think an underrated part of why Halloween is so important too is because you are, as a child, interacting with adults that you don't know in a controlled setting. You have to have the confidence to go up and knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and have the scripted conversation to get your positive reinforcement. Is Halloween just a trap to teach kids conversational skills? Maybe. Are we all little hamsters that fell for the food pellet? Always. Is this just hitting me now? Yeah, kind of. But it was also because when I was out, so we handed out candy, me, Corwin, and Emily, a giraffe, a penguin, and a walrus. We handed out candy, and then as the bowl was dwindling fast, which we did, it was sort of like I guess the neighborhood that they were in moved to like a kind of like a hybrid trick or treat, where in I feel like in classic times it was like the lights on, there's decorations, you knock on the door, you say trick or treat. There's a bowl outside there that, you just go to the bowl, you don't ring the doorbell, they left the bowl out. Oh no, now there's no bowl. And I'm not saying you took all of the candy in the bowl. I'm saying you took all of the candy and the bowl. That may have happened a couple times in a more rascally setting. Or, there's no lights, no bowl. You keep it moving. You say this house sucks. Remember to never come back. It was like a hybrid of the two, though, where they lived. It was like everyone was outside with the bowl. Not as if it was like a security guard type deal. Because even if, as our candy is dwindling, this little girl walks up and makes the comment that says, "You guys are running out." And we go, "Yeah, we know, that's all we have left." And then she just took it upon herself to clear the bowl out. Like, she just grabbed everything as if to say, like, "Yep, you guys are now out." So even if you did play security guard of like, "Hey, take one or two," which, we did make that comment, that's not, you can't, those are merely guidelines. So it was just kind of like a hanging out outside to, I guess, ignore cut out the doorbell or knocking, the repeated sounds that might drive any animal crazy, human or otherwise. And you're just in the spirit a little more. It was super freezing, but it was nice to be outside and watch the kids. It was nice to be outside and watch the kids. Oof on the phrasing there. It was nice to be a part of the energy outside versus tucked away in the house and getting up to open a door. It was nice to be outside and watch the kids. But, they'd come bounding up the stairs because, we're at the top of the stairs. It's I'll say 6 steps, a little bit of a runway, 6 more steps. We're at the top of the second set. We put the bowl at that middle part, so the kids would only have to walk up some of the steps. They could do trick or treat. We could say hi, chat with them, whatever, all that. And it was super adorable to watch so many kids just run up the stairs, come face to face with us, and go, trick or treat. And then we had to be like, you just turn around and grab whatever you want. Like you're amazing. I love your costume. What are you, Scooby-Doo? Incredible. And there was a Scooby-Doo. It was wonderful. Great costume. I'm glad you did talk to us. Good job. You've fallen for the social construct trap of Halloween. But also, please open your eyes, child. You ran right by the pot of gold you so desire. So we're passing out candy. That final gal empties us out, and Corwin and Emily both were like, all right, let's go for a walk now. And I was like, I was under the impression that they were going to try and refill their candy bowl from other people's candy. And I was like, guys, we should have gone when there was still some candy left, so it doesn't look like we are trying to poach off of people and we're just adults trying to recapture the flame of youthful trick-or-treating. And they're like, Danny, we're doing neither of those things. We just wanted to go out and walk in the neighborhood and enjoy Halloween. And I was like, cool, yeah, that also makes sense. I definitely am not going to walk up to houses and ask for candy. And so the walrus, the giraffe, the walrus, the giraffe, and the penguin took off into the night. And I mean, of course, you turn into trick-or-treaters. There's a mob of people, and I was solely after a Butterfinger because as we were leaving the house, Emily's mom texted her, and their bowl was just a classic bag of Halloween candy, Tootsie Rolls, some lollipops. I think there were some Reese's in there. What else? I just think of, like the classic bag. So maybe there weren't Reese's. I digress. But as we're walking out of the house, Emily's mom texted her and said the saddest Halloween sentence you can say, which is, I have a full bowl of candy and no trick-or-treaters showed up. Which maybe that's your vibe. Maybe you do love the no trick-or-treaters. Maybe you're the lights off house. But how sad is it if you do want the trick-or-treaters and you do get the candy? My mother stopped buying candy because nobody came to the dead end that we lived on. It just slowly dwindled and dwindled until she was forced to start hating Halloween because the joy was taken from her. She's hated it forever. I don't know why. But that is not my guess to make. It has always surprised me, though. She's such a whimsical person. So we're walking out. We get this sad text about a full bowl of candy. And the candy was a full bowl of Butterfingers. And obviously it made sense. It was a full bowl of them, but that made me need a Butterfinger. I wanted a Butterfinger after seeing that photo so badly. That was my quest for the entire night. And if you would ask me before I saw that photo, rank your top 5 favorite Halloween candy, I don't think Butterfinger is cracking the top 5. Might have made 10. But 5? I don't think so. Reese's Twix. Reese's Twix. Whoppers. I really liked Milk Duds. What's going in 5? What was I really excited about when I got to the bag? The Skittles were always fun, but I don't think Skittles would be there. See, I don't know what's going in 5 right now as I sit here and vamp, but I don't think it's Butterfingers still. As I sit here still needing a 5, I stand by Butterfinger before this moment not making top 5. However, needed a Butterfinger, and the way that was expressed to the world instead of just being a normal adult and being like, hey, trick or treat, it's that time, I'm wearing a giraffe onesie. I just try to have some fun on October 31st. I would like some candy, and whether or not they had Butterfingers, just move on to the next house. I decided the best way to get into that mindset was to just wander the crowded streets of Dorchester, Massachusetts, like a Southern preacher saying, please, can you spare a Butterfinger? The good Lord needs you to spare a Butterfinger for the weary, for the weak. Can you spare a Butterfinger? I need a Butterfinger. Don't really know why or where that one came from. There's no shot Brandon did not hear that, so that'll be a fun roommate crossing tomorrow morning as he's going to work. He's going to walk out the door. I'm going to be sleepy-eyed. Walking to the bathroom, he's going to be like, did you get your Butterfinger, Reverend Daniel? I need a Butterfinger. And I thanked every house that I got a Butterfinger at in that voice. I said, praise be. Thank you for the Butterfinger. And they looked at me like a psycho because they're like, you're a giraffe. I don't know what this preacher voice is. It's like, I don't know either. I'm just kind of having a good time with some friends. And I don't know how you get all the candy that you get is from a banger Halloween run. You dump it all out, you sort it, you weigh it, whatever it is, but there's piles and piles and piles of candy, and you eat a lot of it. Probably maybe even all of it. I don't remember ever. I'll have to be double checked on this, but I don't remember ever having candy taken from me or like hidden away and had to be siphoned or like, here's a little, you addict. I don't ever remember that. So I remember eating a ton of candy around this time, and I had 2 fun-size Butterfingers, and then we went to another house that had full-size candy bars, and they had Butterfinger, so obviously I grabbed one. So I had the two fun-size ones, and then two of the long nuggets in a big pack. And then my tummy gave out. That was it for me. I said, "Please, Lord, no more Butterfingers. I can't. The devil rears his ugly head. I cannot withstand the Butterfinger. It's too much. The gluttony." Yeah, it was crazy. I just immediate bellyache after I finished that, and just continued walking around, and really lovely when we got out of the crowd. I mean, and it was so cool to be in the thick of it all again. There's a mob of people in this neighborhood running around from house to house. There's decorations. People are, playing music. Two kids were dressed as Daft Punk. Based on their height, they had to be like 10 to 12 years old, and they were fully decked out in Daft Punk helmets, lights, music playing. It was one of the coolest costumes I've seen ever, and I'm fine saying that. That's how much work these kids put into this costume. It was insane. But it was really cool when we got out of the thick of it all and just started strolling this other part of the neighborhood where it was people still out on their porch and, just three adults walking around the neighborhood, seeing some other adults just shouting out, "Hey, happy Halloween." And we would get back, "Happy Halloween to you." And then there'd be a little bit of a lull. And every time without fail, the people on the porch would go, "Do you guys want some candy?" And every time without fail, we would go, "Yeah, if you're offering." It was this funny little dance, this little tango of like, this is what the holiday is for. We've all, quote unquote, technically outgrown it. Or, the three people walking in front of us, they've technically outgrown it. But who cares? Whatever. It's fun. It's no questions asked. It's Halloween. The only questions you get asked on Halloween are, what are you, and do you want candy? And that's the best. Versus the other holidays where it's like, who'd you vote for? Where's your girlfriend? You're not going to like either of those answers. I know you liked her more than you like me. All right. I already touched 35, but that was literally just... Let me just do my quick little notes check here. Oh. Yeah, sure. So, for me, the Butterfinger, it was a very nostalgic night, and I've always loved Butterfingers, and I tried to do a video of this just now. I love milkshakes. I think the fact that milkshakes are now sometimes upwards of $10 or more is insane. But I have never been good at making them at home. But How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. So with the Butterfingers I got, I did also buy one at the store because I ate all the ones I got. Anyway, it just reminded me of, there used to be a Johnny Rockets in my hometown, and I love Johnny Rockets. I don't know if they still exist, but man, was Johnny Rockets a good time. They had awesome milkshakes. They had halfway decent burgers. And that's all I ever got. So who can you put a quarter. They had a little jukebox type deal at every table. You drop the quarters in. You pick some songs. And Johnny Rockets was a date spot for me and a high school girlfriend that I used to get this Butterfinger milkshake all the time. It was so good. And I had such a jolt when I took this first bite of a Butterfinger on Halloween back to a night at Johnny Rockets with this girl. And we were just sitting there talking about whatever. And she said, no one's ever asked me to slow dance. And I thought it was a hint. I thought I was picking up on something and was like, oh, well, that's great. Let's slow dance now. And must not have been. She may have just been revealing something she thought vulnerable and didn't want it solved in the moment, because she's like, here, you're crazy. That's so weird. But like, and I got so embarrassed. Just a high school junior kid who took a swing on something he thought was cute, fun, and just was shot down. And I remember just being, oh yeah, no, this is weird. I was just kidding. And she's like, yeah, totally. I got it. Yeah. And I just kind of sat there sipping my milkshake, letting her speak in her weird British accent. Because for whatever reason, I didn't think that was weird. Young love. Anyway. And so I took this bite of this Butterfinger and thought of that moment. And at first was embarrassed again. But I smiled after a couple more bites because the Butterfinger was absolutely delicious. But also, I'm so glad that 16-year-old Danny took that swing and he didn't think it was weird to ask someone he cared about if they wanted to dance at a Johnny Rockets. I don't care that obviously it was an embarrassing thing in the moment, but those types of things are still building blocks to who you become. And even embarrassing moments are good practice for the future. Because one of my fondest memories is asking a very lovely and beautiful human to slow dance about 10 years later after this Johnny Rockets moment. And they said yes. And it was a very, very lovely time. And nothing else happened. I'm not even saying it led to anything. It didn't even lead to a date. It didn't even lead to a kiss. It led to nothing except that 3-minute dance as mostly friends, even, you know? But sometimes you got to practice getting no before yes, from a slow dance up to whatever your dream is. So, on that note, go eat a Butterfinger. Donate if you can. Love you lots. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.